Right as the sun is going down, it is our job to light the Shabbos candles. Without the Shabbos light, there can be no peace. So remember, girls, God is always watching over you.
You're no longer Rivka Gerwitz. Here are your passports and exit visas. You must do nothing that could identify you as a Jew.
Our passports were made quicker than we thought. We can leave today.
It's Friday. We're going to travel on Shabbos.
The train leaves in 1 hour.
Come see! Who thought they can escape on my train?
אשר תשעני מסר ציווני לחליק נר של שבת.
Watch this film as part of the online version of the Her Vision International Film Festival starting August 7th until September 8th. Get your tickets at www.hervisionfilmfestival.com. Now on with the interview. Hi everyone, I'm here with Lital Mizrahi. She is the director of a wonderful, wonderful film that we have received this year. I'm going to let her take it away and tell us a little bit about it. I just want to tell you that I chose it as an honorable mention because it reminds me so much of one of my favorite films, The Pianist. So I think it's a nod to that. So without any further ado, please take it away.
Thank you so much. Yes. So I started writing Nerot Shel Shabbat around 2.5 years ago. For me, it's a very dear story. It's actually based on true events, as it says in the film. I was struggling with what I wanted to write for a long time. I knew I wanted to direct a senior thesis, and so I kind of went through like 7 different plot lines, like different stories. And one day I was very involved in my Chabad on campus, and I was doing a challah baking actually, because I was always very into my Judaism and trying to just educate others. And we had a challah baking at my sorority house actually, and the Chabad members came and they told us a story about their grandparents. And immediately after I heard it, I was like, oh my God, this is what I have to write about. And essentially, it's about really a story about why we light the candles, and that in many times the traditions have saved people on their journeys, whether it be now in 2024 or back in the day during the Holocaust, during the Iron Curtain. So I really essentially wanted to just spread these traditions and these stories. And I like to say that it's not only about Judaism. I really do believe that it resonates with a lot of religions. I just believe that it's important for these traditions to be passed on and have stories like this, because if we're not passing them on, then there is no one to pass these traditions on.
Beautiful. And seriously, I can't believe this is like your thesis film. Like it's so well made. I mean, congratulations. How did you start? Like, what was your decision? Like, okay, I'm going to go into film school. What was your background? Yeah, give us a little bit.
So I actually grew up a dancer since I was 3 years old. So I've always been kind of on the creative side of things. I'm also like an artist. I like anything creative. On my free time, like I like to say I don't have free time because I'm always like doing something. And it was my junior year of high school, and I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go to school. And I knew that dance wasn't so much of a stable career once you hit a certain age. So I wanted to kind of stay in that creative realm, but choose something else. And I was also in acting, in theater. And actually I was given the opportunity to direct a show my junior year, and that's when I really fell in love with direction and directing specifically. And I knew I wanted to kind of be more on the film side than the theater side. And so I told my parents, I was like, this is what I want to do. And at the time there was only a 7% rate of acceptance rate of women making it in this industry. And I had told my dad, I was like, I'm going to do this. We're going to do this. And it took me a little bit of convincing for sure, because it's not an ideal position. And I knew that Cal State Northridge had one of the best film schools. It was close to home, so I got the full experience. I lived on campus, but I still got to come home when I was homesick. And so I joined their film program, and actually how it works is the first 2 years is just your GEs, and then your next 2 years you have to reapply into the film program. So basically it's a very selective program. It's a very small cohort. You have about 60 students in your cohort, and you all get really close, and they only choose about 4 senior theses. It's going into your senior year they choose, and mine was chosen. And so from there, we kind of, the 60 cohort, we split amongst the 4 films, and then it was really inspirational because I had a woman-heavy crew, actually. So that was also amazing. And so I knew I had so much fun directing. I knew that's what I wanted to do. Choreography, like dance choreography, plays a big role in it as well. Like, I really do believe in the tempo, and I really emphasized working with my actors for rehearsal time. I might have spent too much money on rehearsals, but that's because when we got on set, it was just it flowed so well because everyone knew what they were doing, and we had such a good crew, and the communication was there, so it flowed so fast.
That's probably too a testament to your background in learning dance routines, like, okay, get it all down before shows up.
I think also like the leadership position for sure is like being a director, especially like as a woman. I did feel a little bit insecure going into it, just because I was like, okay, well, this is a big position. How are people? And you're all the same age. It's not like anyone is higher than anyone. So I think also because I was the president of my dance team at CISA in my senior year, and so I had built that leadership to kind of gain that confidence on set, and I think that also really showed and helped me.
Wonderful. It seems like you had pretty smooth sailing, but were there any challenges for you in the process, or was it in the editing afterwards? If you'd just like to.
There was a lot of challenges with every film. I like to say, like, it's crazy how much time went into 15 minutes, and I think people don't understand it until you're making it. I actually brought my parents on set. They were extras for one of the days because I was like, I feel like it's so hard to understand how a film works if you're not there. And even then, it's like one day. It flowed so fast. But there was definitely challenges. We shot it on a train, and so the train wasn't moving, and it was definitely very hard to find a period accurate train, which is why we kind of decided to color a little bit differently when we went to photo chem, just to kind of give it that older feel. I did have my last day filming. My main actor said he couldn't come the last day of filming, and I was like, oh my God, there's only a 6-day shoot. Like, how is this possible? I ended up cutting that. He was only one scene that day. I ended up cutting that scene anyways. So it ended up working out. That was a big one. My producers were amazing. They didn't tell me until like the end of the day. They knew from the morning, and they didn't tell me till the end of the day. What other challenges? I feel like it took us definitely a while to edit the whole thing, just because what happened is everything has been super delayed because of COVID at CSUN. And so when I had graduated, we didn't have a finished film. So essentially, like, now we were just working on it. We're all people working in the industry trying to like make it. And so I had to bring on new editors, new sound people. So it was definitely a process. But I like to say that, honestly, I feel like the film wouldn't be where it is in post-production if I didn't bring on those new set of eyes and those new set of ears, because it gave me I watched the film so many times. So it gave me kind of, okay, I get to sit back and kind of see how this new set of talented people can transform it. So I think with every challenge came an amazing outcome, for sure.
Wow. Yeah, no, like I said, I would never guess that this is your first film, right? You're still, your student thesis, like, none of that. Seriously, I can't wait for people to see this film. I'm excited for you, like, because it's just like the production value is all there. no, you really pulled out all the stops. No, I can definitely see great things in your future.
Yeah, we actually, speaking of production value, so the fact that we shot on a train for a senior thesis is crazy. I was able to fundraise a lot of money, and I think that's what helped me. So CBS Hackman Capital actually gave us a huge grant, so that also helped me pay for the train. And with the train came lodging for all of our crew because of the certain requirements. It was a certain distance away from us. So they helped us a lot. We also shot on their Radford Studios, their New York Street. So they helped us a lot as well. And also our camera, Aries, gave us all their camera equipment for free. So it was a lot of like pitching to companies and a lot of help from a lot of different donors as well. And I don't think that if we didn't have that help, we would have been where we are as far as production value, for sure. So it was a huge thank you to them.
No, that's great. I think the story really maybe is what drew all these people to help you, right? Because it's something, sacred. We all like to protect our spirituality, our religious, traditions. So I could definitely see people flocking to the story, and definitely what's going on today. It's kind of timely, not giving, too much away of the story, but it's, like I was saying, it's like The Pianist a bit, of seeing what people go through in order just to keep what is valuable and sacred to them alive, and not being persecuted for it.
Yeah. And it's the crazy thing to me is to say like that in 2024, I never thought that this film could have been more relevant. I think at first I was a little bit afraid of releasing it, but now I stand with confidence. And I like to say that, like, again, with whatever religion you are, I think it's important. And even if you don't believe in a higher power or whatever power you believe in, I think there is I personally think there is someone watching over you. And for me, that was the lighting of the candles is something I do every Friday with my family. So for me, it comes really close to home, but I know that it also hits a lot of audience members within all different religions and all different levels of spirituality.
Yeah, definitely. No, I wonder, like, how did your actors, like, did it impact them dealing with something, that's so, like you said, relevant and just something that's gonna strike a chord, it's a deep subject matter, so how was their reaction to it?
For sure. I think also that's why I was super big on having rehearsal time with them, is because I wanted to kind of touch base with them, like director to actor. I think that relationship was super important. Actually, my main actress, she was from Israel, and she had just gotten there a couple months before, and she learned Yiddish for this position. At the minute I heard her recording, I was like, that's it, she's mine. So I think, and she had a lot of stories herself, so it was really educational for me to sit there and just, our first rehearsal was obviously just like getting to know each other and hearing her stories and her background. And so I think it definitely hit close to home for a lot of my crew members, or a lot of my cast members specifically, not really my crew members, but I think that's also why they had so much interest in auditioning for it. We had so many auditions, and I really could tell that everyone that was auditioning wasn't just auditioning to be in something, but was in it because they liked the story aspect and they liked the message behind it. So I definitely think it hit close to home for a lot of my cast members.
Yeah, no, I'm so impressed with you because, like, all the aspects of this story, I think, took a lot of courage, right? You're like, let's make a period piece, like so many filmmakers, I think, steer away from that, just because of all, like, the costs and, set design. So, but you dove headlong and
I tell you, it's not cheap. I'll tell you that one. It is not cheap to have a period piece. And I think also making it so accurate. Like, there's still stuff that I watch it and I'm like, but obviously it's within every film. But I think that when I pitched it, I think what helped me a lot is I I wrote it as a proposal not to get chosen, but I wrote it from the heart, and I wrote it because I really believed in it. And I think that's, a lot of people will submit something because they want to get chosen and they want to win, but instead of doing it from like a deeper place within, is like, I really just wanted to spread this message. And I think that's what saved us. That's how we got all this money. That's how we got so many people to believe in us and got chosen.
How have you gotten any feedback from the people that the story is actually based on, from their relatives? How did they react to it?
Yeah, so actually, it's so funny because a lot of people haven't seen the film yet. Because I personally don't, well, we had a couple screenings, but we weren't able to invite enough people. And sometimes they're on Saturdays, which makes it a little bit hard for the religious people to come and watch because they're Shomer Shabbat. So I haven't sent it to them just because I don't want people to watch it on a phone, because I think that it's such a different reaction when you're watching it in a theater with the right type of sound system. So I'm planning on doing kind of a separate screening for them so they can watch it in the right way. But essentially, like, I always tell them, like, just to do them justice, it's based on true events. It's not based on a true story, just because I changed a lot of it for sure. But I actually, when I was doing the research, I did have to talk to them on the phone, go to their house. So there was a lot of like research done into it before to make sure it was at least historically accurate.
Wow. Yeah, no, you could tell you took your time with it. And speaking of time, how long do you think it took from like the idea brewing in your mind to final edit where we are today?
So, it'll be in May. It was exactly 2 years. Yeah. So a little bit more than 2 years, which is wild. And then we shot it in January of 2023. Yeah. And now we're here.
Wow. Just congratulations. I can't say enough good things about it. Again, it's a gorgeous piece. The cinematography is wonderful. Yeah, no, your actors did a brilliant job. And again, I give you such courage for tackling such an important, heavy subject, and especially one that, who would think it's still in 2024. We're still trying to, defend people's right to worship in whichever way they choose. So yeah, again, just congratulations. I have to ask, what's next for you? Because I'm sure you have to be working on something.
There's a lot. Honestly, working on this piece was definitely, it was like an amazing process. It was definitely kind of like a learning process, obviously. I've always known I kind of wanted to go more into like the rom-com side of things, which is completely opposite of what I just came out with. But essentially, like, and it goes along with also my dancing, is every dance that I've ever choreographed always had a meaning. And so with every film that I put out, I also like to have kind of a concept or a message behind it. And so after I graduated, I was interning at a production office for a production company for a little bit. I worked on some really cool music videos. And that was amazing because obviously as a dancer, that was my dream. And so I kind of stemmed into that for a little bit. And more recently, I sat down with my parents. I was like, okay, what's next? Like, we need a new story. I'd love to bring in a writer for my next film and get some more donors and investors. And kind of, I think there's so many messages that need to be told. I'd love to tell people stories. I feel like that's kind of the realm I'm going into right now. And I think it's time for another short film for sure. And then eventually, maybe, I always like to say it, but there could be a part 2 of this film for sure, from Poland to America. So definitely possible. Everyone likes to laugh and say, because this one took place on a train, the next one can take place on a plane. I was like, you're okay. Stay on ground. But yes, I think there's a lot more in store. I think there's a lot more stories to be told, and I'd love to share people's message.
Wow. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, beautiful, beautiful film. So just congratulations to you, and thank you for being a part of our festival.
Thank you for this amazing opportunity. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure, Simon. Watch this film as part of the online version of the Her Vision International Film Festival starting August 7th until September 8th. Get your tickets at www.hervisionfilmfestival.com.
Sword fight, king of the hill.